beautiful Twitch and internet audiences of the world, no matter where you're watching this video, welcome to HTR Racing. We are into our third season of operation, our first ever fully broadcasted one. You'll be able to find us on loads of channels, but today it's time for a bit of a long race. As you will all find out, I'm racing on a controller, so I'm not going to be, pushing it as such, but I will be, on controller, just going all out and showing you all how to drive around Imola for the first race in our exhibition pre-season. So I think, without much ado about nothing, let's get this party started. So for the lols, I will stick it on the TV pod camera, and I am aware, masses, I'm doing this on a controller, so just bear that in mind. So we're gonna start off with this corner. We want to break around about when you get to the strip, but we'll talk about it as we get through the lap. So we'll roll the car in. Sorry, I'm just not used to this camera. But here comes the DRS straight. You can easily cut this little bit of green. I choose not to, but you can very much cut these little bits of green. They're not curbs, so that's always wonderful. Get the car straight with that little Italian strip, as I'm going to refer to it, and brake as soon as you get to the Italian strip. Don't hump the first curve and don't hump the second one. You don't want to touch the yellow sausage curves, otherwise you will be sent into a spinella. Then we're going to see the 100-meter board, and you're going to want to brake as close to but before the 50 as you wish. Then we're going to roll the car through now. And once you see the 100-meter board brake, you want to get to that other Italian strip. I'm calling it Italian because it shares the same colours and pattern as the actual Italian flag, where our location is based. But then we're going to roll the car through here. Again, the Italian little curbs are your friend, and then we're going to brake at the 100-meter board, we're going to roll the car through, and then we'll take this absolutely flat out here. You've got to be very proactive in driving, but then you want to brake at the 50-meter board. Again, touch the Italian ones, don't touch the big curves. That's what I will say in reference to those curves. And you want to roll around with that green strip. Then, as soon as you see the Italian one, shift to the other one on the right-hand side and brake, as we're now going to come through the DRS stream. Don't go off track, otherwise you'll get caught out like a lot of people are. And then we're going to roll our way through to the checkered flag for a lap successfully complete around the beautiful Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. As you can see by the Made in Italy signs, we are here in the wonderful Imola track for our first exhibition race. In the twist, it's going to be 100%. So this should be a very fun, enduring, grueling race for our drivers. I mean, take for example here, you can easily run wide, and if you don't have assists, spin the car. There's a lot of places, as you can see by Imola's nature, it's quite a narrow circuit, this one, so expect a lot of mistakes, and it's only been added into the F1 game since October, and shockingly enough, a lot of players have probably never driven at the Imola circuit in a modern Formula 1 car before, so it's going to be very interesting to see how our drivers will perform. This corner here is one I would definitely be wary of. If you don't have traction control in a 100% race where understeer is going to be absolutely prevalent, then it will be ever so important to get and nail that 100% what's with the curbs, because you'll get the understeer, so it's going to be extra hard to turn in through there. How our drivers will manage, especially on the harder compounds, will be an interesting test of their true skill and characters for the upcoming season. So I'm just going to roll the car now into the pits lane, and yes, this is the car I've been quite used to in Season 2, but we're going to join off into the main lobby now, actually, and I will explain the kind of rules of the game. So, it's very straightforward. It is a 100%, lobby. It should be a very fun one, a very interesting, race in stall of us, but we need to run through your driver grids. We've got Pakathan and Kevin Annihilator in the Mercedes. We've got Red Bull Racing have Phoenix 6906695 and not another driver at the moment. But according to the pre-season list, it's meant to be Phoenix and their teammate for today is actually Harvey Booth, or FRT Harvey, the Season 1 champion, who recently we can no longer call the reigning champion. Very sad times. Will be in the Red Bull. We've got Sam W11 and XRL Veloce partnering in the Papaya cars of McLaren. Aston Martin have got Red Sug, the former Haas team principal, and he'll be partnered eventually alongside Kirangis 22, hopefully. Alpine have got Hurricane and English Big Boy. Ferrari have got PXR Hazard and Desert 10, one of the league's recently elected administrators and owners, essentially, of the whole of HTR. Then, at AlphaTauri, we have got the Tier 2 champion, Positive, and he will be partnered alongside Rico, 877146. At Alfa Romeo, you have the Tier 1 vice champion last season, Armour Kinga, and they will be joined alongside Titan Police in the Husky Chocolate Machines. Then at Haas, we've got Druid 9726, and they are supposed to be partnered alongside Jerka 2009, the Tier 2. There we are, speaking of which, the Tier 2 Vice Champion will be driving in the Haas with Norton and Matthew 7034 in the Williams. So that is it, essentially. Essentially, that is your grid for today's wonderful race, and with that said, I think it's time to explain what is going on, because a lot of you will be very confused because we don't really have a stream at all. We've never done ones like this in past HTR seasons. It was, oh, there we are, I think we've got the 20th driver. I think we've got a 20th driver in the lobby. Yes, we have got VXR Tom and Kirangis, who will slot into their appropriate cars. There we are. Kirangis has joined the Aston Martin, and blah 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 blah. If my English can speak, Tom should join the Red Bull eventually. But with that said, a lot of you will be wondering, why are we even doing this stream? Well, we have completed our second season of operation as Hypertier Racing, and we are entering into what's called the Preseason. So it is a month off of non-mandatory races, but races to show the recently elected 10 team principals, which you should now see an edit of if you're watching this on either YouTube channel now. But otherwise, we have got new principals at completely different teams. Teams that a lot of you quite shocked to see the changes around in, I will say that much. No drivers are officially confirmed, though I've been a bit trigger happy thinking it was Christmas, so to speak, over on the Discord server, but we'll talk about that as we go through this list. So yeah, this is going to be a very, what's the word, interesting season up ahead. A very, very, very great, entertaining year for all of us. And essentially, I will explain now the changes. But first, before we get to the changes, I think it's important to stress where you can follow us, because this is a brand new clean slate. So I think I'll be explaining to you all what is Hypertier Racing, because I mean, if you couldn't have guessed, we are playing the Formula 1 video game, the latest version, Formula 1 2021 to be specific. But to keep it really simple, basically about 20 people, as you see here, will drive Formula 1 cars in circles for about 45 minutes at a time, with a 20-minute qualifying session. But today, as you can see, it is a 100% race, all 63 laps of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in the recently added and confirmed to have another race next year Grand Prix at the Imola circuit. A very much nostalgic, fan favourite Grand Prix that I'm sure a lot of people would love to see stay on the calendar for years to come. We've been through our track walk, so all is calm and all is bright, but today should be a very much fun race indeed. But alas, this race should be very fun because the drivers are used to doing only 50%, which take about 45 minutes. This Grand Prix could easily take 1.5 hours, assuming there is no safety cars and assuming it is in the dry. But you know what they say about assuming. It makes a Haas out of you and me, to put it that way. I know that's the first of many Haas puns. You'll all get used to me throughout the season. But before we do proceed, I think it's important to talk about what you, the Twitch chat, want to hear, generally speaking, because I'm sure there'll be some absolutely keen fans and we've not got any comments yet. But please, if you are obviously a spectator, by all means send in your questions throughout the stream, and I, for Doodle version 2, shall respond to them. We've been given the countdown of T-30, but before qualifying properly gets underway, I think it's important to say, well, where can you find us? Well, if you've just tuned in, hello, thank you, well, we're very grateful you're here, and we hope this can be the start of a wonderful journey. There will be multiple places where you can now catch us. First of all, on our Twitch page, the latest and livest place and most interactive platform to engage with all of us. All our race starts will be at 7 PM British Standard Time, basically the time code of 0000. Whatever the one Britain is in, it's going to be 7 o'clock in the time of Britain. So, yeah, sorry, just had to make it very much, what's the word, simplified for our first race for a brand new season, because this could be a new audience jumping in. Again, this is like chapter 1 of a new story that we'll be writing here at HTR, and one I certainly cannot wait to hopefully race and broadcast many of them to all of you, and I'm sure you'll get to know me as the season goes on. But if you want to join us and would like to join in the races, as this is only a exhibition race, then you can do so by scrolling to the About section, whether it be on your mobile phone or Twitch app, and you can join our Discord server. You'll need to submit some time trials, but then you'll be able to get underway and racing with us here at Hypertier Racing. We are looking for drivers, so please, if you think you got the need for speed and you want to drive some Formula 1 cars in circles of a community that has only in its second season managed to grow over 100 members, then by all means, you can click that link below. We have now, well, typically I'd say you can follow us over at our Hypertier Racing YouTube channel, but now there will be 2 places where you can catch us. Yes, there are 2 spots, and this is going to be very exciting to see. The first one is, of course, on our YouTube page over at Hypertier Racing, but the second one is going to be at Fadoodle version 2. Now, if you don't know, I have said it throughout some odd streams, as the first car out of the pit lane is a Red Bull, but the first one to leave the track is a Haas. And is this Druid's way of meaning as they seek to go on by being the first car out of the pit lane? But we'll talk about each team and respective driver as we go through this wonderful circuit. So that is the 2 homes are at Hypertier Racing and at Fadoodle version 2. Make sure to drop a subscription on both platforms and ring the notification bells so you never miss an upload when we get access to them. But with that said, and all funny clips will be hosted on our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook pages in our About section. If you'd like to give us any money, which we would massively be appreciative of, you can always either give us a Twitch subscription or you could give us a Discord Nitro membership, which we will, if we get enough, we'll be able to upload greater race clips. And trust me, with all the incidents that may happen today, that might not be, that'll be a very useful feature to have. So by all means, it'd be very handy. By the way, if you are watching live on Twitch, don't forget stream chat. You can respond, and I'll be more than happy to tune into your work and your comments. Just remember though, I said it last season, I'll say it this season, we're here to spread Formula love, not Formula hate. But we're going to go on board with our first driver who's left the pit lane. I think this will be a bit of a historic moment as Druid, the former Mercedes driver, drafted into the Haas today. Oh, and they've gone into the wall! Is that some front wing damage for Druid? Ah, that might compromise their run. That is going to be a bit of a shame. There's a yellow flag, and Hazard has already retired. The Ferrari driver, unfortunately losing it there, and that is going to be a bit of a shame. Well, thankfully Druid's decided to pull over and let the Flying Williams of Norton make their way through as the number 88 car sharing the same number as Robert Kubica in his Williams. It's like looking into a mirror if Kubica stayed at Williams. But alas, we've already got one driver out, and this will be a bit of an interesting season. Everybody's not in the cars they'd be typically used to, but cars that would allow them to show off their stuff here. And Titan Police, that's two now. The Alfa Romeo driver of Titan Police is out, and someone will have to call the paramedic because their soul might be a little bit deflated going into a race, which is never what you want to see. But anyway, if you don't know, my name is Fadoodle. Nice to meet you all. Hello, DRP4, and I joined the league and figured out it's on PC. Yes, that is important to stress, that this league is an Xbox only, but you can still join the server, man. DRP, we always post content, and you'll get inside access as Norton has gone provisional pole with a 118.2, not a slow lap time at all. Let's see who is the next car on the road as we try to find someone who is setting a relatively competitive. Oh, here at Hurricane on the soft tyres, the Formula 2 vice champion in that championship that will sadly end due to a lack of participation, takes the spot from Norton with a 115.7. Not bad from the Tottenham supporter in the Alpine car. Looks really interesting seeing the number 40. Don't worry, I think you'll see a lot of yellow flags. It's a very narrow track and a lot of drivers trying to let one through. Red sub. Oh, sorry about this stream chat. As Matthew 7034 retires from the session, which will be very interesting over the Tier 1 champion. Not set a competitive lap time as Phoenix has gone relatively quick there with a 115.7. Kieran setting a 116.3, and Armour Kinga with only a 116.3. and Rico is now retired. We've already lost 4 drivers, sadly, and Red Sug is disconnected, and Druid's gone as well. There's only 15 drivers in the qualifying session, and it seems like Imola will be a game of survival if qualifying is anything to go by. So that is going to be a very interesting one. Hurricane made it around alive. Phoenix did to settle up time, as did Kieran. Armour Kinga, the Tier 1 Vice Champion, and formerly Alpine Team Principal, certainly will be absolutely kicking themselves, only setting a 116.3. Not a bad lap, but I think they know they can go into at least the 1 minute 15s, but obviously low. I'm not talking about fast. Kevin here, well, jump on board with the Annihilator, setting a 117 as English Big Boys retired. There's only about 14 drivers left, sadly, as Sam set an unrepresentative lap time with a 141.1 in the Papaya car. Let's ride on board with the Annihilator. One of the new trio of HTR owners after the founder left, as Harvey, former Aston Martin TP, sets a very strong lap time, 116.1 on the mediums. That's a very competitive lap time there from Harvey. I think they can be very proud of that one. Probably with Nick Pole if they're on the soft tyres. So again, maybe they're going to try and do the long game in this race. Remember, in F1 2021, you can only qualify on the softs or the mediums, but it's a 100% race. Strategy will be very much important. You could do 1, 2, even 3 stops depending on the circumstances. So it'll be a very interesting one. Kevin and not deciding to settle lap, probably running out of fuel. Oh, they had enough fuel, they just didn't feel confident in that one. So we will join. Oh, there's not many drivers actually going out. So as it stands, Hurricane, with about 10 minutes left to go, is on pole position from Phoenix, from Harvey on the mediums, and then it's going to be Kieran. Well, actually, no, Kieran said a bit of a slow sector 2, so we'll join on board with Harvey instead. The Tier 1 champion for Season 1. Unfortunately, couldn't quite replicate that success. Still had a good year. I think they would be very happy with that. But alas, it's just not quite been their year. But hopefully, it's a new start now. Hopefully, this will be the chance for the British driver to turn it around as they're about to come into the pit lane Kieran setting a time a little bit slower, but have they got enough fuel? Yeah, they've got enough fuel. I think they're trying to just do a bit of race practice, which is never a bad thing in the Aston Martin. Trying to get used to a whole new car pretty much at short notice, so we do typically play as there's a bunch of cars letting each other through. Remember, at HTR we do run with equal cars, so basically they all have mechanically the same engine, but still maintain their aerodynamic and chassis characteristics. So, for example, the McLaren is going to be very fast on the straights, but say, I don't know, the Alpine is more designed for the corners rather than straights. For example, like the Alfa Romeo will prefer a circuit like Portimao rather than Imola, at least in my opinion. But alas, we'll join Deza, one of the trio of league owners and admins, run up to the line, formerly of Red Bull, crosses the line. It's a 1:16.4, not bad there from Deza. The man with number 90, he probably wanted 10, but Gasly occupies that number in real life. Armour Kinga starting their flying lap. This should be interesting. There's a yellow flag, but it's just somebody letting someone else through, so it's not really worth draining, what's the word, effort on. Ah, thank you DRP, thank you for the support. Yeah, indeed, we're trying to become a very organised machine, pardon the pun. Hopefully firing on all 8 of our cylinders. And with the DRS and ERS in our management structure, I hope so anyway. And yeah, that was another pun. I know, you'll have to get used to them if I'm on commentary, fellas. I mean, listen, there's a reason why in the driver ratings, at least of the latest version, I have puns in my nickname. But Hurricane, he's going to come around the final corner. Is he going to cane this time? He is going to cane it round the circuit beautifully with a 1:15.2. Could Hurricane be emerging as a dark horse in the Alpine? Does that car really suit his driving style, perhaps? Has he nailed the setup, maybe? Or whatever it is, the 46 driver must be absolutely laughing to themselves. But alas, so Kieran's on a bit of a slowly. So is Armour Kinga, I think. Yes, they're not going to make it round with only 1.7 laps of fuel. Deza's coming in. Sam, he's got about half a second faster in the second sector. Provisionally, that could stick him in around P6, and that would certainly give him a lot of confidence. The other and final triona of to complete the HTR Triforce. We've seen Kev, we've seen Deza's time, we're about to see Sam in his Papaya McLaren. He's drifting that car very impressively, I got to say, through there, but the number 71 runs to the line. It's a 16 dead, much better than forecasted. He was narrowly close to beating Kieran, but 5th place for the McLaren. I think they'll be very happy with that. It's the first of the season, the former Red Bull driver having to adjust to a very different concept, and at least with equal settings, seeming to do it with a bit more grace than what some would say Daniel Ricciardo did. But there we are. Armour Kinga though, I think this is their push lap. They're definitely showing the proper Welsh fiery dragon pace we know of the Kinga, the Vice King actually of Tier 1 to have, and I will keep using that pun throughout the rest of the year, with their Day of the Dead helmet in the Alfa Romeo. At least they get practice with their engine, as we're going to run all the way through now, through the first of the 2 final left-handers to get that nice and beautiful on the exit. Beautiful there from Armour Kinga. Is he going to make it absolutely perfect? This is going to be an absolute belter of a lap time. Will it be in the 14s? Not quite. It's a 15.8. Only 1/10 from Boloche, but overall, a very solid lap for the first race of the season. I think Armour Kinga could certainly be happy with that one. I don't think they'll be too annoyed with that. And Sam's had a spin. Oh, actually no, they probably just let someone through. Oh dear, I'm having a fadoodlism. Interesting DRP. I think that's a very safe shout for Hurricane to get pole. I mean, to be fair, their pace is of an electric boogaloo. My question I'd like to represent is Jerka, who's about to start, and Positive, the Tier 2 Vice and Champion respectively. They have got a lot to prove in their new tier, and I think, personally, they're going to do pretty well. If anyone's going to take pole, whilst I think everybody could, these two might just pull it off, but we'll see how it goes. We'll start on board with Jerka first, unless if we see something else, because these two have calmly sat in the pits, wait for the carnage to happen, and now are about to set their fast lap times. I mean, at a minimum, these two are going to be 13th and 14th if all else fails, which gives them free tyre strategy. But I guess their name's not Fadoodle and do crazy strats like back in last season in Bahrain, doing a 26 stint on the mediums. But alas, it's all good, it's all good. But that said, he's coming through the first of the right-handers. He tidies up beautifully. Interesting jerker. Takes a bit more of the curb than I think most would take. Very interesting line. But it's all good. It's about what makes you feel comfortable. The drivers knew it was Imola, but in order to set up for the cars, a little bit of individual characteristics was not necessarily onto their side. But a Mercedes, I think, is about to come in as jerker. Rolling it to the line now. It's a 1:16.5. Pretty respectable. Ahead of some tier 1 driver or two. Actually, it's demoted down to 11th, sorry, as another driver has into the top 10. But now we're going to join on board with positive in the AlphaTauri. The tier 2 champion, number 51. They were the Alfa Romeo team principal, but we'll talk about that another time, as this race is going to be a very long one to explain about stuff like this. Positive, rolling his way up to the line. He sets a 1:14.9, and I told you one of them would do it. And Positive must be feeling like Mr. Happy on cloud number 9, or cloud 51 in this case, because he is taking provisional pole by 0.3 of a second. The tier 2 champion, the reigning tier 2 champion I should say, making a real statement here for their tier 1 aspirations. And now I think Red Circle were about 1 second off there, but actually Des is going about 0.2 faster. Jerker's backing off. Kevin Annihilator is about to roll to the line, but he's setting a 30-minute time at the moment. But the next driver, I think, on a hot run seems to be Deza, the team principal of the Scuderia. Definitely, well, Scuderia, what's the word I'm trying to say? Team owner, I should say, league owner. Indeed, MSC Tom, he has got a lot of pace. That is a very valid point. But alas, Deza is one of the owners. I think certainly last season did a very respectable job, I think, in Tier 1. You know, solid pace. I mean, not quite title yet, but certainly pace that most of us mortals would never get to, at least without a lot of dedication and practice. It's not going to be a 14, but could it be faster? It's a 1:16.1. Not bad from the Ferrari driver. Puts himself into the top 10. That could be very good for strategy. Certainly to start on the softer compounder tyres, even if they're a bit worn. But I think they're going to go for another run. Yes, they have got the fuel now to do another one, so we'll see if other drivers will copy that tactic and do multiple runs on the soft tyre. But they're all out on their outlaps as we speak. But the Ferrari man, the former Red Bull team principal, who managed to end up, I believe, 3rd in the combined constructors, but I will double check for you all last season, certainly did a very respectable job, and I think will be looking to emulate that success in their new team, wherever they may go, which we will definitely reveal those publicly in just a moment. Indeed, securing 3rd, a good 24 points over the Scuderia, which is the team he's driving for now, with a very close fight throughout the season. We had an HTR last time out, well, last season out. We ran 4 tiers. We ran the Academy tier, which was won by one of our pros. We had our Formula 2 tier, which sadly, as I alluded to last time, will no longer be happening due to simply a lack of demand. But Dez's lap time is going to be a bit slow, so we're going to check on board with the likes of who is getting closest to finishing a lap. Pack fans backing off. Sam, W11. One of the Triforce of HTR, certainly pumping in a very quick set of pace as it stands. But we'll see what happens here. Could they possibly push themselves up? It's very close between themselves, Packer and Kieran. We'll find out now. The lap times have been tumbling. It's a 1:15.4, and that McLaren will be very happy with themselves. But oh, Phoenix has gone round. Oh, and they pushed too hard. And the Phoenix has turned to ashes, it seems, for qualifying, as they will have to start at a best case scenario of 4th place. That's certainly not what they'll be wanting going forward into this season. I hope for their sake it's not a bad omen of what's to come. But alas, Armour King are now charging to the line. They know the standard by Positive. We've got a 15.4, pretty respectable up in 4th place. Certainly got the pace. Hurricane about a 10th down, so Positive will stay on pole position as it stands, unless if somebody has got something incredible up their sleeves. We'll join on board with Kieran, who looks like they'll be identically setting a similar lap time, but again, considering that fight between themselves and Packer, every thousandth counts. We'll see how this goes. They'll be pushing to the line. Here comes the DRS flap open, not yet of the Cognizant. Car is 1/10 faster. That puts him into 7th place. Qualifying has officially ended, meaning everybody must finish their lap time or sit in the pits like Deza, Red Sug and Jerka. Oh, and the Williams is round! I think that's sadly Norton, and they were on a good lap, but to be fair to them, at least they got 14th. That's not really a bad showing. As Packer fan, sets a 1:15.2. Not bad from the Tier 1 driver. Certainly a very respectable result to be in 3rd place. Only half a tenth, I get the right terminology correctly eventually, down of Hurricane. So pretty respectable stuff. Sam, definitely not going to set fast time. Armakinga, the Welsh drag, he's giving all the fire he's got. I think it's going to be pole, but it's going to be 5th place still. Just 3/10 slower, but I'm sure they were whiskers away as Sam Veloce cuts the corner wide. Harvey to the line, goes a second faster. It's going to keep them in 9th as it stands. And with that said, it's official. Unless if Norton, well, they had a spin. But unless if Veloce, who's coming up to the line now, the McLaren driver, seeking to do well, up into 5th. Very good stuff there from the Great Dane. But Kieran's on a slow lap, and Norton, I believe, is as well. Which means Positive will start on pole position for our inaugural premiere exhibition race of season number 3. The AlphaTauri driver, I'm sure, will be absolutely buzzing with this result. Oh dear, and there's a bit of contact there after the session finished between the AI cars. Hopefully that will not be a bad omen of them. And they've actually taken wing damage, but it doesn't really matter. So, as I've been alluding to, there have been some team principal changes. So, I think it's important to actually talk about them. And starting off with our pole sitter, Positive. They have moved from Alfa Romeo to Mercedes. They did win the combined, and they got first dibs on anybody they wanted. So they will be joining the Mercedes team. Oh, that's a bit of a shot by one of the administrators who has access to this account, with Sam to Bennett in lap 5. Well, I hope not for their sakes. That's all I'll say. Excuse me if I get this name wrong. Then 0-OBG former. I was 2/10 down at the end of Sector 1, then improved by... No, that's pretty good, mate. You've done pretty respectable there. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Veloce. Oh, hello, Veloce. No, you're not a noob gamer, dude. You're certainly one of the fastest here. I mean, actually, if we just take a look, you were 5th! No need to worry. But Positive will start from pole from Hurricane in the Alpine. Packer fan is in 3rd place with Sam, Veloce, Armakinga, Phoenix, Kirangis 22, FRT Harvey, and Desert 10 will make up the top 10 for this race. They will have to start on their tyres. Harvey, luckily for them, will be able to start on the medium, so they'll be able to go longer into the race, but we'll have to deal with that pretty bad understeer you get on 100% races as the cars are fueled up with a lot more liquid in them. For some reason, the race looks a little bit dry, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, but this should be a very interesting race, I think. You know, a lot of drivers will be testing out new things this race. It doesn't count for anything, so it is all good in the eyes of the league. So, yeah, let's see what we got here. I hate that chicane has to be put on. No. Positive just too good. Well, I think they're pretty positive about themselves at the moment. Some great commentary going on between the drivers in the stream chat, and of course if you'd like to join us, you have to check us out live. We approximately broadcast every Monday, Tuesday, and I believe it's either, when we had 4 tiers, but it was Wednesday and Sunday, but which one will be stayed and which one will go, I have actual no idea. So alas, we will explain the new team principal changes, because I think a lot of you want to know. As aforementioned, Positive has moved from Alfa Romeo to the Mercedes Formula 1 team. But what does this mean for the rest of the market? Well, Armakinga, out of pure passion, wanted to take the Scuderia to the title this season, and thus will be moving from Alpine to Ferrari. This left the seat open at Alpine, which is going to be filled up by the former Mercedes TP, who's been sadly booted out by our draft system, Basketball Dan. And with Basketball Dan now at Alpine, this left a couple more changes in the window, with Desert 10 snapping up the Williams seat in very good fashion. I think they've got an interesting challenge on their hands to drive a car that's got a completely different philosophy to the Red Bull, but good luck to them. Whilst Kevin taking the maybe more calculated route, clearly wanting to shaking up the order by signing with Aston Martin. And as Red Sug, the former yeah. do apologise, stream chat, for my abrupt disappearance. Some personal stuff did show up. I just had to sort. Sorry, life happens. Just gotta sort these important things. I mean, very important. So yeah, just gotta do what I've gotta do. But alas, within the first 5 laps, it's not positive, as Pakistan has made a move for the lead of this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, but it's a very long race. Who knows who will stay there? It's been a very long one, so indeed it's going to be a game of keeping it consistent now at this particular stage of the race. As we can see, actually Titan Police and Rico went on the hards, but alas, Titan has spun themselves round. Very shame to see them lose out early on in the race, and they probably left the session, but at least they'll know what to do for next time, as Harvey has made. So we'll talk about what's happened here. So Pakistan has jumped up to positive. We move over to the position changes graphic. We can have a look, I believe. Yes, here we go. So standard stuff from the order generally. Hazard making a great start considering they spun in qualifying up into 7th place, as a Haas has gone off. I think it's Jerka. Yes, the tier 2 vice champion losing it there. That very tricky spot, and it is just not what you want to see, is it? Oh, it's just an absolute tragedy to lose it through there. But at least it's a long race, and that... Oh, and they've lost their front wing. They must have gone into the wall. And Jerka has taken themselves provisionally out of the running for now. As Veloce, yes, Veloce's also spun. The spinalas are happening everywhere in Italy. And Veloce was running in 4th, has now dropped down to 10th place with positive. Now grabbing the fastest lap, and has made up 10 positions. Hurricane must have either been some contact or have spun. Looking at their tyre graphics, we can see they have made a pit stop. So it's very likely that they were involved in some contact on lap 1, and they do a great job. But then I'm going to fly past Desert 10 into 2nd. They have got plenty of ERS to spare, which is always good for them to use. Druid up into 9th. They did an excellent job there in the Haas, but also so myself, with Veloce having that spinala just now and dropping down to P10. Matthew climbing up the places slowly. Again, it's a long race. You can definitely take your time, be a bit more methodical. With Kevin in 12th. 13th, Red Slug has dropped a little bit down places. Harvey probably involved in some kind of contact, or maybe he just had a poor start, and is down in 14th with the other Red Bull probably getting into some kind of contact. They're down in 15th with the penalty. Rico has climbed the positions into 16th with English Big Boy in 17th, with Norton just coming out the pit stops now. I think this is their 2nd stop. No, the 1st, sorry. We're going to go on mediums, interestingly, with Jerka coming in now after seemingly dropping it in. So, but it is Pakistan who does lead from positive from Sam and then Armakinga. But I do have to just apologise, to be frank, with my disappearance. It was random, but you know, life happens, doesn't it? And there's just some stuff you just have to drop, you know. Certainly family comes first, so it's always important. But with that said, we've got the fan of the Green Bay Packers sending the positive into a box off to Amazon HQ in first. Positive still within DRS range, but seemingly have used up much more ERS, has the tier 2 vice champion. So clearly they're not going to be able to attack right now. But there's a yellow flag. I think it's an Aston Martin off. Oh, and it's Red Sug. Oh, going into the wall. That would have given them some rear wing damage potentially. But the number 26 Aston Martin driver clearly having a little bit of a hard time around Imola, but it's a long race and they've spun again. Oh, they got away too quickly, and now their softs will be basically ovens. So that is just not good, and they'll have to do a long, treacherous lap back to the pit lane to get themselves back into shape. But the gap is down to just 7/10 of a second here between Pakistan and positive. Meanwhile, Sam doing a respectable job at third, keeping it clean. We've got an interesting battle going on here for 5th place between Armakinga, Hazza, and Hazza has gone round! The Druid has been spun around. I think it's just dropped it on the road, sadly. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, but it doesn't matter in sector 1. As Armakinga backs up, these two are fighting non-stop for this 4th place, and Hazza has made the double move. Can he keep it? Pushing the Aston Martin very wide there. I think the stewards will have to investigate that one. But Hazza, for now, has made 2 places off that start-finish straight. A bit dirty, but certainly respectable driving. Armakinga up into 5th, and Kieran in 6th, with Hurricane getting themselves back into some contention with 7th for the win. Deza is up in 8th from Veloce, very close, even though with the spin, and Veloce just dropped it there as Norton has left the session. So there's Matthew is disconnected, sadly. Seems the Tier 1 champion. But there's a few kind of teething problems. It's why it's a pre-season race, after all. An English big boy, fair play, set in the fastest lap of a 1:18.9. Very respectable given the full fuel loads of the drivers at this point in the race. But remember, because Norton disconnected, the rules of Season 2 still stand where if a driver disconnects and leaves the session and they do not finish the race or enough of it, that will mean they will get a D and F and did not finish. We'll check further down the order. I think these 4 are going to have a great scrap here, going down to the start-finish straight. Hurricane, he's going to make some moves, I think. He's got the DRS. He won't be turning it on. Now he is. He's got the DRS. They're all in a slipstream snake over there. But can this be done? There's a yellow flag in sector 1, so he'll have to back off. But it has stopped. Armakinga is getting past Hazza, but runs wide. The Welsh Dragon going very wide there, and having to drop potentially some positions. Oh no! It's a double spinala, and Armakinga has lost the front wing along with Kieran. 4 cars making overtakes into that corner is never a good idea. And whilst I don't believe it's Hurricane's fault, he has indirectly caused the safety car to come out on lap number 10. Oh, well, this is going to extend the life of this race. So if we flick to the tyre stats for a second, certainly people like Packer, Positive, Sam, will be absolutely celebrating this safety car, because this could mean a chance for them to get some very good, strong points in this race. And Phoenix has left the session down in 13th with penalties. We'll check the penalty standings in a moment. First, it's time for some pit stops. Into the pits they must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O, because Packer has sent themselves in, along with Positive. None of them getting speeding penalties. That's always important. So it's a very tight pit lane in Imola. Got to be extra careful. Slow the car down. Sam has made it successfully. So Packer is going on to the means. What about Positive? We'll see. Positive's going on to another set of soft tyres. Interesting strategy from the Tier 2 champion. Packer on a set of mediums. Now, what about Sam? He's going to mediums. I think most people are diving in. Veloce, though, he's going to stay out. He's going to try and climb up the grid, and he'll get himself into first place. Not bad from the McLaren driver, who now leads this Emilia-Romagna exhibition race, or ER. They won't call it an ER. As they lead from Packerfan. On fresh set of mediums from Kevin Annihilator, who's made a move on Matthew somehow. I think Matthew is not in the game at all, because their internet has completely disconnected. Somehow. I will see if they are still around. Yes, they are, so I will invite them into this match just to get themselves back, because they're actually in a strong position. And Positive! I mean, fair play when he was ghosted, but has made an overtake on Matthew. And Sam, and there's a bit of confusion and delay going on here under the safety car with AI drivers, but alas, it is a very shuffled up grid now. A lot of it's interesting to see, because it's not necessarily one way or the other. A lot of drivers picking mediums, some of them picking softs. We'll see which one benefits later in the race. But stream chat, who do you think's going to win this race? Who do you think's going to win this race? I apologise for my abrupt disappearance again. I just, well, one of my family members who's pretty close needed some help in an urgent situation, so I just had to go and help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, duty calls, and you just got to do what's good for the greater good, even if it means you will miss the first start of the year. The YouTube pilot's going to be very awkward, because I'm willing to bet in the comments someone's going to be like, "Oh, Fadoodle! Oh, Hypertier Racing! You forgot to include the start." So, yes. And Red Sug has got a penalty for corner cutting. And speaking of that, that's reminded me to check the time penalties. So, Packer has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Probably for corner cutting, I suspect. Again, the track limits are very strict. And Norton, oh, I thought they were out of the race. No, they have rejoined, which is good to see. Kevin is clean. Matthew's clean. Sam's clean. But Positive and Hazard both have 3-second penalties. So that's not going to be good for them, is it? Realistically. Dez has got one in the other Ferrari. English Big Boy has picked up 6. And Jerk has retired from the session. Clearly just having enough. And I don't blame them. Not at all. From all the spinning. But it is a long race. But they just gave up, sadly. And alas, they will be finishing 19th on the timing board. But a DNF in the race. Phoenix has got 3 seconds penalties, along with Red Sug just now, who's a little bit far back, and if they wanted to, they could strategize this, but they're on medium, so they probably want to get a move on. Oh no, Jerker, oh dear. Oh dear, mate, oh dear. I don't blame you, not at all, not at all, not at all. It's a bit difficult to multitask, but don't worry, it's all part of the process, isn't it? I mean, that's why it's a pre-season. You know, pre-season's all about tightening up things, isn't it? And getting things all into perfect shape and harmony. And it's just the first of many races to perfect our craft. But with that said, safety car is going in this lap. We will move over to the tyre graphic. Oh, as Kieran's making some moves, Phoenix has dropped 2 of them for some reason. I want to check this out for a second. So Phoenix has dropped some places, and oh dear, what's going on here? So I think Kieran made an advantage, and he'll drop now down as the Astons are now at the back of the running cars. But with that said, Veloce has to decide when he wants to take the field away. Can the Great Dane become the first Dane to win in HTR? We will find out very shortly. Actually, it will be a bit longer than very shortly. But he goes. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there. Having a little bit of a fishy rear end, it seems. And Packer will certainly take advantage. He is a Tier 1 driver, after all. Fighting against the unranked Veloce. Oh, they backed down. Oh, the leaders have crashed. And they've annihilated themselves, which has helped the teammates get through. But there's going to be some awkward tension afterwards, certainly, as the 2 leaders have collided on lap 13. It's only going to be a yellow flag. There will not be another safety car, at least not now anyway. The field is all relatively close together, but man, that must be these 2 will be absolutely furious with each other. And as we say that, McLaren versus Mercedes continues to rage on, as well, one driver from each of the teams has fallen through crashing. The other 2 are still running. It's Kevin now in the lead of this race. Bro, oh, and there's contact again! I think Sam may have got a little bit too eager to Kev, but then Kev might have parked the bus a little bit too hard, as Hurricane will surely want to take advantage. And Hazard's now getting past. There's a bit like bumper cars, it seems, out there, as Hazard sneaks their way into 3rd. Butters now picked up a 3-second time penalty, so Hurricane could be tactical about this. He knows he's on the softs. He doesn't need to get past him. He can keep Positive, but behind him, anything, he'll probably beat a lot of the drivers around him due to the fighting that's occurring as Phoenix has rejoined the session. But meanwhile, Hazard is getting a move done on Sam W11, and thus the Ferrari man on the soft tyres thinking to move on Kev, but he is not allowed the permission to annihilate one of the Triforce of Hyper-Tier Racing. The Tier 2 Vice Champion doing a commendable job at the moment as it stands. On 14 lap means there's a yellow flag. I think it's a Haas. Oh no, it's the Haas team principal, should I say, of Red Sug. Oh dear, it's never what you want to see, and I think their day is going from bad to worse. There's Veloce pit. It's Kevin annihilating the field. I say that, but over the hill, has got an excellent drive, and he will take down the Annihilator through the, what's it called, the uphill section. Fair play on the inside, great racing. It's what you love to see there from the Ferrari man, the former Alfa Romeo Tier 1 driver, showing their worth, that's for certain, in this race. But they've got to build the gap now. They have got penalties, and they need to build it, because remember, the drivers behind, they need to worry. But Anna said, oh, I think that is now an actual Haas who's gone off. Is it? I think it is. It is! It's sadly Druid who will drop to 14th place, but alas, they're not last, and they're certainly not out of the race. That said, DRS is enabled. as McLaren Mercedes war continues here at Imola. We had Pacavan and Veloce in front take each other out. Will their teammates, bearing in mind their 2/3, 66.66% of the Triforce of Hyper-Tier Racing, take the lead? Be careful, I think they are so far. But everybody knows Kev is on much ward mediums. Again, it's not terrible at 14 laps, but still, it's going to be more worn than the majority of the field, and there will be a pace advantage from the cars behind, purely on rubber. Meanwhile, English Big Boy making a manoeuvre on Matthew 7034's Ghost. Matthew's Ghost putting up an excellent fight here in his absence, but alas, the Big Boy has managed to make their way through on 8-lap softs. As Hurricane just about does it. I think Positive was even thinking of a sneaky move on his dad's, but alas, the Tottenham supporter caning the Annihilators right back to the, I don't know, Terminator franchise. I have no idea who ever came up with the word Annihilator, but I think that, will this be a changing of the guard? I mean, remember, Positive voluntarily let his dads win. We'll see how this goes. They both got DRS. Father versus son. Father on the mediums, son on the softs. They're pushing each other right the way, but Hurricane is being an interesting block, and does Kevin. Backs out, and Deza, oh, going wide on the gravel trap, but keeping it together, showing the experience of Deza 10, but going a little bit wide as a result, and thus letting quite a few cars through. As an interesting shout throughout the race, but alas, it's now Positive in 4th, with Kevin in 5th. Harvey's moved to 6th. Armour King is now in 7th, with English Big Boy in 8th, and Deza in 9th, with Kirangis in 10th place. Matthew, they are obviously not pitting, so thus they're going to be a bit like a 11, sadly, at the moment. Oh, Hurricane there, getting a bit of a Tokyo drift on, it seems. A bit of a baguette slide, you know, if you know what I'm saying. But will they be able to croissant the Positive behind? Yes, they will throughout this corner, as Phoenix has overtaken Rico on the soft, which compared to Rico's mediums is kind of, you know, expected. But alas, because, you know, the softs are just a bit more grippier at this stage, because they're only 4 laps old. But now, I think this is going to be the Positive move that everybody is looking to see again. He did it on his dads. Can he do it to Kane, I should be saying. But alas, we will see what happens here. Positive pushing all the way through. Are they going to make the move? No, they back out of it, do the right thing. As Sam, crucially, has a 3-second time penalty. The McLaren driver, the one of the Triforce of HTR, of Ferrari's off. I think it's Hazard! The race leader has spun it into the gravel trap. I warned you all. That could take someone out important. And what do you know? Sorry, Hazard has done another drift into the wall, and this race went from excellent to a bit of a catastrophe for the Ferrari driver as they entered a spinella, is what we'd say at Ferrari's secondary home Grand Prix. But alas, it's now Sam W11 taking the lead of this Grand Prix, with Hurricane in 2nd place from Positive. Again, do not count these 3 as the winner. So, an English Big Boy. Oh, Hazard's retired from the session. Oh, they're clearly feeling the rage, and I don't blame them. They might need to get Amazon Web Services, as there's a safety car again. Surely for Kev, this must be the chance to do the ultimate one-stop to the end. We'll see what happens. Interestingly, Positive is coming in again. Interesting strategy along with the Big Boy. We'll see. Armour King is going to stay out low. So what tyres are these two got up their sleeves then? Is it going to be another set of softs? We'll find out now. They're coming in. It's going to be mediums and softs. So Positive switching back to the mediums. I thought one of them would have picked the hards, but there we are. We also got a Kevin annihilating themselves onto the softs. Like I said, I knew this was going to be the move, but I think Red Sug will get past all 3 as it stands. He's absolutely pushing, and yes, he's successfully got past the Tier 2 Vice and Main Champion, along with the one of the 2 who helped win the Tier 2 Constructors' Championship in English Big Boy. Fair enough, Jerker. I mean, you know, when you're getting used to new equipment, it's always, you know, you're going to have some teething patches. But hey, at least you're having it in the off-season, mate, aren't you? rather than the main thing. So, if you have just joined us, we have got Sam W11 leading this race as it stands from Hurricane, FRT Harvey, Armakinga's in 4th, Desert 10 is in 5th, Kirangis is in 6th, Phoenix is in 7th, Rico 8th, Druid 9th, Norton 10th, Red Sug 11th, Positives in 12th, English Big Boy is in 13th with Kevin in 14th, Matthew 15th, Packer 16th, and Veloce 17th. As Phoenix has picked up another 3-second time penalty. So, we were, actually, before I was interrupted because Judy calls, let me explain the lineups. Basically, Positive, winning the Combined Constructors Championship, opted to pick the Mercedes. As such, Armakinga had the second choice pick and went for the Ferrari. Deza went for the Williams. Kevin Annihilator moving from Williams to Aston Martin, actually, with Red Soak joining McLaren. IPR moving from McLaren over to Red Bull. Basketball Dan taking the Alpine. Sipal Shankar, the former Ferrari T principal, who stepped in at a moment's notice, thankfully, joined the Haas team full-time this season with Cody King having the Alfa Romeo, and it is myself. I've taken 66 minutes to get to this point, but yes, I'm a team principal. As it seems, Phoenix is coming in for mediums, Packer fans coming in for mediums, and Norton's going for softs and to serve a penalty. Oh no, I think they had to let the other car through. But interesting strat. I would have thought more people would have picked the hard tyres, especially bearing in mind it's a 100% race. But there we are. I guess I just choose not to. Fair enough. With that said, we've got Sam W11 in the lead, and you know, I think whilst we're here, we might as well talk about our race leader, Sam, your regular Tier 2 commentator, at least throughout the end of last season. Certainly, you know, put in some good respectable shifts in Tier 1, managing in the end to climb all the dizzying heights to, if I find the Tier 1 standings at the right place at the right time, he managed to finish in the end an incredible 4th place. They're distant from the top 3, but still clearly beating Harvey, who was the Season 1 champion, and a Red Bull, so I think he can be very happy with himself, with the performances he's doing. So I think, yeah, very solid performance. Whilst Hurricane missed out on the final, at least for now, HTR Formula 2 Championship, which sadly will be discontinuing due to, simply put, just a lack of attendance, really, and interest. But in Tier 1, in the Primero tier, they managed to finish 9th, which was a respectable bid, considering they were fighting, you know, 2 titles at once. Whilst Harvey, the Tier 1 champion, as alluded to earlier, not as good of a year, but still a respectable one, finishing in 5th on 98 points in the Aston Martin, being the primary scorer for that team, and I think, you know, things would have been a bit different if Harvey was in a bit more background role. Armakinga, the Welsh Dragon, as alluded to earlier, he will be driving for Ferrari next season in Tier 1. It's been their boyhood dream to drive for the Scuderia, and I think they've now finally got their chance, and will certainly take it for at least a little while longer. I actually don't think that any of the team principals have stayed the same. Everybody has all moved around. Desert 10 is in 5th place as it stands. Again, in Tier 1 they did score 16 points when needed to obviously pick up the points. And in Tier number 2, they actually managed to finish 6th, getting 102 points from a full-time campaign. Not bad. I think they certainly pulled a bit over me, but I'm sure I was there from the start and did every race. I'm sure I'd be a little bit closer than 40 points off, but it's all good. And then, look at that, we've got like 3 Red Bull drivers in the top 6, as it's time now to go back to green flag racing. If you've just joined us, Red Hypertier Racing, we're on lap number 20, out of 63 for this race. If you want to follow us on our socials, scroll to the about section of our Twitch, I was going to say TikTok then, we don't have a TikTok yet, or our YouTube description to find all our social links. There's Sam W11 Last time a McLaren led this season, there was a crash off lap 1, but there's no Mercedes behind them, or a Mercedes-powered car, so this should be a better start. Are they going to get a bit of a wheel stint? No! Sam taking it right to the line there, designed to speed up, and now there's going to be a great scrap going on here between Hurricane and Harvey. Meanwhile, Druid getting a great move on Rico there for 7th place in the Haas, on the AlphaTauri, but Hurricane staying in 2nd as it stands. With an interesting move as the Aston Martin of Kiran Gis managing to make a move past Desert 10 for 5th place as it stands. Matthew making a move on Veloce, so always a respectable performance. I think they're in Ghost though still. I don't believe they've returned it. Rico has picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that will definitely compromise their race as they join the 3-second crew. And they've crashed and retired! They picked up a penalty, and I think they've spun it off that corner. Either that or they gave up, but that is certainly not a good result for them. They had a bit of a tricky time when they came to Tier 1. And I think they'll be needing a mental reset, and this race has not quite provided that for them. It's a yellow flag. There's not going to be a safety car because we've literally just had one, and the field is so close. There is no point. It could be a virtual safety car as Hurricane behind had a great advantage because of penalties, but he got a 3-second time penalty as we're approaching about a third of the race distance now. As he has done it right, I don't blame Rika for leaving. I think I would be just as mad as they are, to be honest. I would not blame them in the slightest. Not even going to lie. But with that said, moving from a AlphaTauri to another car beginning with an A, that being an Alpine, their big brother team is fighting the car in 2nd as Harvey. Keen to make a good impression, trying to show they've still got the need to win that title. Hurricane taking a slightly more compromised line, but again, bear in mind he's still got exactly the same rubber, exactly the same life, pitting under that first safety car. Be paying attention with us. But Harvey running wide there through that corner. Is that going to be positive? Barmer Kinga's chance to sneak back through the order, but not quite yet. We'll move further down as Positive making some moves up in 8th, and Pakafan getting past Red Sug, who's on 11 lap old mediums, compared to the much fresher and faster cars behind. Clearly making good use of the tyres so far. Next up is English Big Boy on the Red Sug train. Thinking of when to get past. Oh, I was very close there. Soft speed providing a bit too much grip for the Alpine driver. But alas, it will not be the move for the electric Boogaloo car. Oh, English with the switchback of dreams coming out that corner. He just deployed the Uno reverse card. He's using all his ERS and draining that battery. Well, that was an excellent move for 10th, and so far I think that's got to be overtaken the race, surely. That was a beautiful move from the big boy. And meanwhile, fighting in 8th place here, Pakafan, who was leading the race, remember, before being taken out, is making their move back on Positive. And it seems to be Druid, who I don't think is using all their ERS, but don't have DRS, and thus it's going to be... Oh, and Pakafan went up the inside, and their day's gone from bad to... And they reset it to track as well. Oh, their day's gone from bad to worse. I think the Mercedes driver will be feeling like they want to replicate Toto Wolff when he smashes a desk, because they will be absolutely fuming with themselves for that little spinala there. But at last, Sam is leading the race from Hurricane, from Harvey, then Armakinga. Kieran just interesting on the soft tyre, but again, the wear's going to start to kick in now, sooner rather than later. So he's got to make his moves count very quickly and, well, before his softs become like a bit like concrete, basically. As Phoenix has picked up a penalty. Positive, about to go on a move on the Haas. Number 16 though, keeping it nice and clean, all smooth again. You just want to keep it alive in a race like this. It's about how long you can go the distance. It's about running a mile, not a sprint. In these types of races, that's for certain. As Positive is maintaining the 8th place as it stands. But all the Mercedes of Kevin annihilated themselves here, and that's going to be English Big Boy's chance. We've seen them make a fantastic overtake, as Positive has made a good move here. His former Tier 2 teammate is about to make potentially another one, but English running a bit wide there. Kevin having the DRS with the Ineos powered Mercedes, and thus the Big Boy will have to sit in 10th place for now. As Matthews return... Oh no, it's Norton, sorry. I thought Matthews returned. But they have not yet, it seems. With that said, looking at the front, it's very close. Look how close it is between the top 5, even 6, ladies and gentlemen. As Pakafan has got a 3-second penalty, but I think they're just in the point of giving up, aren't they? They're in the real stressed out zone. I don't blame you all. Nothing coming through from you, stream chat, but of course you can always drop your responses at Twitch. As Harvey has spun round! I thought that was going to catch someone out, and now it has. Surprisingly longer than forecasted, but the Red Bull has had a bit too much wings, it seems, and has turned into an aeroplane through the corner and not wanted to turn. Oh, they must be absolutely furious with themselves. And Harvey is now sat behind their teammate. They haven't got many options left. Possibly maybe turning this race into a two-stop, pitting out on for a set of mediums, or they can go hard to the end. We'll find out what they're about to do now. There's no overtakes happening. As what's this? Armakinga. Oh, Armakinga is pitting. I was gonna say, but Positive making a good one down. We'll see what tyres the Welsh Dragon's gonna go on to. As Positive and Kevin and Druid. Dazza's having a bit of a bad time, it seems. He's obviously lost out some places. Armakinga's picked up damage. But alas, Dazza dropping places. This is an absolute great scrap at the moment. And it seems these four are fighting very closely. Surprisingly, none of them take each other out. Dazza picked up another second time penalty there. But Druid is just about fair play to them. Despite losing the position to Positive, has managed to keep in front of the Annihilator and Dazza. And is holding up basically a bit of a train here. That I think there's a good 4, maybe 5 cars who want to get past the white Russian flag-inspired American machine. But there's a bit of a lock-up, and there goes Druid. I was just saying how amazing they were doing, and they just drop it right there. There's a long way for them to go, though. There's still a good 40-ish laps, so I don't think they need to lose their confidence just yet. An English big boy capitalising with another move around the inside, using Phoenix as kind of a shield to help. And Red Sugger's retired from the race. Is that going to be a third safety car? It is going to be a third safety car. They're all coming out at Imola today. Hurricane and Sam missing the window. Positive decided not to take it now. They're only going to try and mean it to the end. No, is anybody going to take it? Yes. Daz is going to take it. Is he going to go on another set of mediums? Or will it be hard to the end? I think they broke a little bit too early there. Harvey also taking it. Druid naturally taking it. Norton's taking it. Kevin's taking it. I don't think Armour would have been dumb if they did right now. Dazza coming on a set of hards. Finally, someone after lap 1 is taking it, but they've had to drop all the way down, and they're going to be sitting there, losing precious time here. We'll see what Armakinga and Kieran just can do. But Dazza's out, Kevin's out, Druid's out. Is Norton? No, he's probably serving a penalty. But Kieran, as Norton has left the session, I think it's just their internet dying. But Kieran made it up into 11th place, it seems. So that's always some good stuff for them. And Armakinga climbing their way up tonight, so clearly getting themselves back in the race on a good strategy. Dazza probably is going to go to the end of the race on hard. We've seen with Titan and Rico, you can easily spin it on them. So we'll see what one of the league owners, one of the Triforce pieces, can do with these tyres to the end of the race. Again, if you just joined us, we'll just remind you of all our links. If you scroll to the About page or at the description of Hypertier Racing's YouTube channel, you'll find, first of all, our respective pages, so the opposite version. So if you want to catch us live, we'll be broadcasting on Twitch at 7 PM every Monday, Tuesday, when we're racing, obviously. And we don't know if it's going to be Wednesdays or Sundays at this moment in time, but one of them all kicking off at 7 PM British time. Then you've also got, as I thought there was something going on, but there is not, all the funny clips will be posted to our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook if you want to catch any old words have escaped me. It's when you do the memos so many times, but even after that it still leaves us. My lovely doggy has just decided to enter. It's much cuter when you've got a dog just coming in on your stream. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm over at Fadoodle version 2, so don't forget to drop a sub and a notification bell to get access to both streams, versions of the streams when they drop in your inbox, whenever that may happen. And of course, the Discord server. If you want to race in future events with us, you can join us on our Discord server. We are at Hypertier Racing. Got to submit your time trials, but if you successfully complete them, we will enable you to race in races just like this one, but usually at half the distance. So don't worry, you will be having to take coffee before you do the race in order to keep your brain functioning. Interestingly, we've seen a mix of strat from the people who've picked, strategy I should say. Harvey on the softs, Druid and Norton follow suit, with Kevin on the mediums and Deza on the hards. I wonder if that stint could be the difference between being at the back of the pack and doing a madness and going on to get an excellent result. The safety car is coming in. This is the third time and McLaren is leading this race. I don't know, for personal sakes, whether to make an exhibition leaderboard, you know. Nothing for serious sakes, obviously, but it's like a non-championship trophy that just to, you know, give out for kind of funsies. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what happens now. Sam, he left it a little bit late last time, I gotta say, but I think he's gonna surprise his opponent. Bearing in mind it's the same one, he's speeding them up, and now he's gonna get going much faster, definitely keeping his opponent Hurricane on his toes, as Norton has successfully rejoined back into the session. We'll just check further down. Oh, there is an overtake going on. It's the big boy, and Phoenix decides to back out. He does not want to lose from me. As Veloce going for a move, very opportunistic, but I love it all the same. An opportunistic, supercalifragisticexpialidocious move. Well, that's an excellent job from the Great Dane of HTR. Veloce to make an excellent move there for 5th place. As Kieran, oh, I think Harvey's dropped it. Yes, Harvey has gone off. That's a big shame for them. They'll be absolutely losing it. Thank you so much for the love in the comments section. The Formula Love Jerker, massively appreciated, my fellow racer. But alas, Sam is leading the race at the moment from Hurricane. Then it is the Positive, followed by the big boy. Then it is Veloce. Then we've got Phoenix, Pacafan, Matthew, who despite not being actually in the race is doing it. So clearly not doing the worst job considering they're on AI. Armakinga is in 9th with Kieran in 10th as it stands to run at the top 10. Deza making a move on the hards, clearly getting some good temperature into them. Of course, he'll have to keep up in this initial stint, which will be very tricky. But now the top 4 are going to be going for this overtake. On Sam, there'll be no DRS yet. We'll see if the drivers have got enough DRS. Hurricane certainly has, but so is Sam. They're going to absolutely deploy the batteries. Positive, being tactical, along with Big Boy, sitting back, knowing the two are good teammates, remember. They've got a good synergy about them, so they will work together to ensure greatness happens. Positive there, taking it wide, going over the yellow curbs. That often leads to a disaster, but somebody is right round. I think it's Veloce! They've been spun right round, like when you go down, to quote that Flow Rider song. And alas, the Great Dane has added 10 more positions to their finishing position as it stands. That should be 9, because Matthew's in Ghost format. And so, Matthew's Ghost there, being a little bit more tentative than the actual article. The last Kieran has moved their way up into 8th place very successfully there. I thought, Harvey's just letting them through. Fair enough, as they hump over those hugely wide curves. It's probably the size of Frisbee, you know, they probably just took a Frisbee and just extended it and made it a FIA safety grade 1 proof. And bam, you get those curves. As now, it's lap number 30 of this Emilia-Romagna exhibition race. Sam taking a very confident line, I think, through there, as Deza making some moves on Matthew 7034's Ghost. That said, he's going to not deploy the ERS, crucially. The ERS is enabled, but I think Positive is fighting with their former big boy. But alas, the Tier 2 champion, showing why they're the champion and staying ahead of the Alpine, as he's in a bit of a baguette of Renault power engines, it seems, as it stands. But Sam takes the lead for now. Whilst they're doing their little ting up the front, their good old ting of racing, we will join further down the field. I think we'll see what's going on with the likes of... They're all very close together, but obviously no moves are being made, and I think Norton might be going for a move on their Williams teammate. Yes, they are. It seems to be Norton will be making an overtake. Let's see if this sticks. Well, they don't have Fadoodle around them, so they won't be T-boned, that's for certain, so that's always a good start. But alas, it will come very shortly, I am sure. But the moment I look away, and oh! Hurricane at the right time for us viewers has lost it. Lost the front wing, and they'll be absolutely furious. A flawless weekend so far has gone down the drain, and the Hurricane is clearly feeling the pressure, a bit like Tottenham did initially under Jose Mourinho, some would say. But alas, it's a yellow flag. Will there be a fourth safety car? I don't think so. The field is relatively close together, as Kev has annihilated himself. Thankfully kept his front wing intact, but that's going to cost him certainly in the race. He's on a medium strategy. Right, we'll see what happens now. Positive, English Big Boy, and Sam are the 3 contenders in the lead. Positive has cleared off. He's sliced off half of the Alpine baguette, and now he has to absolutely push for that papaya if he wants to have some paella after the race. We'll see what happens though. Interestingly, Big Boy on the soft tyres, but they are going to start to degrade, remember, at some stage. And now this is the fight for the lead. Sam W11 versus Positive. As it stands, there's a yellow flag again. I think it's Phoenix spinning it again. The Red Bull really seems to have a lot of wings for going in a straight line, but not enough for the corners, it seems, and that could be very costly. Both of them, I'm sure they will not want to be racing in the Red Bull come the real HTR season. But Positive keeping it nice and smooth, all 3 of them do, in fairness. But they've all got the same amount of penalties, so they'll have to do this on track with their own merits if they are to win this race. Sam keeping it nice and smooth and clean, but English Big Boy, he's trying the switcheroo. The Imola master, it seems, this season has made another excellent move for 2nd place, and I think certainly so far my driver of the day has to be the Big Boy. Fair play there from English. But now, can the Big Boy get into the big position? We're about to find out now. McLaren engine versus Renault. We know the McLaren engine, even though it's all equal here, is very fast down the straight line. It's the fastest in the game, to be precise. But Big Boy has got the ERS. They're not even deploying it, and thus has taken the lead. Alpine have returned to the front of this race, with English Big Boy taking the lead of this Grand Prix, nearly losing it there on the curbs. But Sam is in 2nd on 20 lap hole mediums, with Positive in 3rd place. Then we've got Pakafan in 4th. Kinga doing an excellent recovery job there in 5th place from Druid. Kiranji's in 7th, there's a 10 in 8th. Harvey's in 9th. Matthew in goes 10th, with North 11th. Veloce 12th. Phoenix 13th. Kevin in 14th, and Hurricane in 15th. But at the front, English clearly getting on with the job. All he needs to do, obviously, as Druid has picked up a 3-second time penalty to join the crew there. As actually he just about gets past Armour, but I think he may want to recede that if he wants to have his 3-second penalty rescinded. English Big Boy has picked up another 3-second penalty, and that's put him on to 12. My mistake, commentators. And now he really does need to get a move on if he wants to win this race. He has to build a 9-second gap from the Tier 2 champion. Sorry, it's now a 6 gap from the Tier 1 4th place racer, as Sam has picked up another 3-second time penalty. And that will certainly cost him, as Positive will use the psychological advantage to his strength. He's going to go around the outside of turn 1. Very brave, but he's made it work. Nice and clean. Shows why he's the champion of Tier 2. But with that said, Pakafan is in 4th. Probably out of disbelief that they're even in this position. But alas, the Green Bay Packers fan is certainly putting on a charge. An English Big Boy needs to pull away a pretty huge gap if he's to win this race. But so far he's doing the job at 1 second, and there is enough time, but he's got to get that number up to at least 9, sorry, I should say, if he is to win, which would require these 2 and a couple of others to make a few spinalas, if I do say so myself. But alas, nothing too... It's typical. The moment when I do these camera flicks is the moment where someone spinalas the car. No? No one wants to spin the car? Oh yeah, everybody wants to win the race. I forgot. Of course, for Doodle. Yeah, people will intentionally spin for the camera. But interestingly, English Big Boy, Tier 2 ended up in 4th in the end, which is pretty respectable, I think, you know, given the fact this is their, you know, certainly a strong year they had last time in the Alfa Romeo. Rumours have them linked to go into the Mercedes, but we'll see what happens, obviously, with how well they and Positive work together in Tier 2 at the Mexican race, which is on our Twitch page, but that's not got long left to go if you want to see what happened. Positive will want someone who's a good team player, and I think English Big Boy is certainly a good one of those. He's absolutely stretching away. I thought there was going to be tyre issues, but there's a McLaren, and Sam has spun it! He's lost the front wing, and the race contender has dropped on 22 lap hole mediums down tonight. And they've got to do the long, arduous lap of Imola back to the pit lane. And I think they will be feeling, their skin will be just as embarrassed as the colour of the paella, as Druid makes an excellent move there, probably at the same place where Hazard did earlier on, as he's up into 3rd place. With Pakafan in 4th. Kinga chasing these lads down. Remember, whilst maybe Druid has a better advantage now, he's certainly going to be stronger than Packer, because he's got about half less life on his, more life, sorry, on his tyres, I should say. Thank you to all 5 of you who are tuning into this inaugural stream. It's massively appreciated. For the love, what can I say? For all of you just sticking it out. And Norton! Oh, I was going to say Sam's probably in the pit lane, wasn't he? He's probably spun it again. Oh, it's just he didn't know for me. I was going to say Norton making a move. I was like, what? But no, alas, it's just Sam damage. But with that said, Harvey making a solid recovery. Again, they've had a couple of spinalas, but I think it's good to see they're having the mental determination to carry on with this race. Never give up. We're up to 90 minutes in the stream, fellas, and we're only on lap 35. I hope you've grabbed yourselves a cup of tea or coffee, wherever you are in the world, because this is going to be a pretty long one in this race. As Matthew's Ghost has got past Sam, he's going to be pitting. I think after a set of mediums. Could work. Again, I don't really know personally, to be honest with you. I believe it would. At this stage, especially with an odd safety car or two or VSC, could help Sam's cause, but he's going to have a long stint to go as Packer-fan has picked up, I think, another 3-second time penalty. I think they must be on more than 3, certainly. Yes, they got 12. Whilst the race is quiet down, I think we'll check the fastest laps out. Because if you don't know how Formula 1 works, the fastest driver, if they're within the top 10, who sets the fastest lap in the race, will get a bonus point, and Packer-fan has so far got the fastest lap with a 1:18.3, clearly showing they've got some strong pace around in the race right here. But Big Boy, fair play, I think, has come close with a 1:18.4. Positive, I think a little bit sandbagging, bearing in mind all the circumstances that have been going on. Not wanting to push for it just yet, setting a 1:19.1. Druid doing an excellent job up there with a 1:18.4. Harvey, someone else worthy of note, but then they are a champion of hyper-tier racing. It's kind of not a shock to see them do well in a way. But I think people like, what's their names? I mean, fair play to Norton. They're actually keeping up with relative pace. I could even get a similar fastest lap compared to Sam, W11, the race leader at one point. So it's always fascinating, isn't it, to read fast lap telemetry, I think, certainly in this sport anyway. And the gaps are, as it stands, nothing to the leader, but Druid is gaining on positive, so we could see some overtakes at the moment, but I think this race, bearing in mind it's 100%, is going to be a little bit more quiet, a bit more chill, but English Big Boy would have won the race had it been 50%, but now they've basically got to do it all over again. As they've got a long evening ahead of the drivers, and so do I actually, because I have to talk for like 90 minutes over all this. But stream chat, if you've got any questions as always, don't forget to drop them below. If you want to follow us over on our Twitch, we're at hyper-tier racing, hyper_tier_racing, as Druid has made a move on the Big Boy. Oh, but they're petty. I was going to say, but it's that, given what he needed to get him past positive, no, positive position of the car, excellent there. Oh, but he's going to let him through. That's an interesting move by positive, clearly thinking the big game, activating Alan Prost mode is what I call it. You know, obviously knowing the fact their mediums are going to be a bit more shot compared to the 10-lap softs, so interesting strategy there. English Big Boy is going on to a set of mediums, I believe, but has dropped down to 12. Probably to try and... I don't think they could rescind their penalties, could they? No. So, yeah, interesting strategy from the Big Boy. And now, could they go to the end on mediums? Certainly it could be possible, but they're going to be shot biscuits come the end. But you've now got the Haas of Druid 9726 in the lead, even though they've got number 15 on the car, of this race. Positive is in second. Harvey in the Red Bulls in third, but unlike real life F1, there's no team orders. As Positive has picked up another 3-second time penalty at 6 seconds. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not the worst defender with penalties this evening, but I think that's certainly not going to help their chances, as English Big Boy has now got 15 seconds worth of penalties. How they've got the determination to keep on is truly impressive, and I don't know. I do not have the Scoobies on how they're able to keep the motivation going. Yeah, they're not feeling the trough of the mountain of penalties, so to speak. But remember, Stream Chat, Harvey picks up a 3-second penalty. If drivers get 30 seconds worth of time penalties, I believe, they are disqualified from the race. So you've got to be extra careful, especially in a 100% league race. I mean, we don't do them, but you've got to be just uber gentle and uber careful when you're driving the fast cars circles. And excuse me, I'm going to have an extra mint sweet. I'm not going to promote the brand. because they're not paying us. But if you'd like to sponsor HTR, we won't say no. As Norton, oh, Phoenix is making a pit stop, I think, or have they spun? No, they just maybe had a bit of an off-seat. Oh yeah, they went to the gravel, but they saved it this time, which is good. And Harvey has spun round and is stuck on the curb. Oh no, they're trying to launch themselves off. But Harvey spinning once again, and clearly the Red Bulls are having some cobwebs, and will not be saying arigato to Imola when they cross the line, because this has been a bit of a, not bad, but certainly a bit of a disappointing showing from themselves. I think one might agree with that one, in my opinion. No questions from you, but thank you to all 6 of you who are live with us this evening. We are HTR Racing, a Formula 1 virtual championship where we drive lots of fast Formula 1 cars in circles for normally 45 minutes. But here we're doing the whole 110 actually. No, it is 110 minutes. Yeah, it is. So yeah, interesting stuff. Harvey is past Deza now. But to be fair, Deza's on those hards. Oh, nearly dropping it there. Keeping it clean, keeping it in the green. It's always good from Deza. And good respect between these two. But Deza to some extent, knowing the fact he's going to be a tiny bit slow at this stage, bearing in mind the hards, they're not really going to kick in until the end of the race. So he's going to play it nice and smooth, keep it in the long game, and I'm sure he'll net home some excellent points at this stage. He is within earshot, so if ever he did make a pit stop, he would capitalise off the safety car tremendously, as it stands. Meanwhile, there's a great little battle going on for 4th here, between Karangis, a respectable driver from Tier 1 last season, along with Armakinga, the Tier 1 vice champion, and now the Ferrari team principal is clearly getting used to his engine with the Alfa Romeo car that was rumoured to be coming Andretti for 2022, but alas, it doesn't really matter now. The DRS is activated. He hasn't got much DRS, neither of these two do. So he'll be using just a little bit here from Arma to get the move done, and he will move up into 4th place. But remember, these two are on exactly the same tyres, so it's going to come down to raw pace now, and confidence with the car's philosophy to get them around. And I know the Alfa Romeo will be very quick in these kind of sections, but could be a little bit slower on the straights. But alas, Armakinga is doing a great job here to be up in 4th, considering the start they were in lower down the order than expected. Wow, look at this. Oh, I was going to say nothing is going on, but something is going on. I think Phoenix has spun it again. That's another Red Bull in this particular corner gravel trap, and I think they'll be very furious with themselves on lap number 40. There's a yellow flag through the first 2 sectors. Oh, thankfully Phoenix has learned to keep it under control this time. It's good to see that the drivers are learning from their experiences this evening. It's always wonderful to see. But Druid takes the lead of this race as it stands with positive. It's on 21 lap mediums. I think they'll have to do one more stop, but I could be proven wrong. English big boy with another time penalty. I think they're up to 18 seconds. Are they up to? Yeah, they are. They're up to 21, and Sam has retired. Sam has dropped it. I can't get a car nearby, but Sam has dropped it. Oh, they must be absolutely gutted with themselves. But at least they were outpaced to fight up the front, and I think that's going to be the most encouraging thing for them. I don't blame Sam. You know, the McLaren, I find it personally a bit of a harder car to drive than most, but we'll jump on Madrid now. The car has disappeared. There's no safety car, and we're down to 14 runners. Actually, officially 13 in the race when you factor in fact, Matthew's a ghost right now. You might have to call the Ghostbusters to take away the ghost from the standings at the end if it stays as it is. But alas, Druid is in the lead. Positive, and then back. Norton making a pit stop. So they were on 14 laps soft, so I don't blame Sam for leaving the session. Oh, they were serving a drive-through. Okay, interesting. Fair enough. I guess it's just one thing we had to do then. In that case, stream chat, do we have any comments about the race so far, stream chat? Here's a random question for you. As Phoenix has picked up a 3-second time penalty. What is, since the Grand Prix is sponsored by Made in Italia, what's the favouriteest thing you've ever had or owned that's made in Italy? For me, my favourite Italian-made product has to be when I sampled, I think it was a... Let me think of it. I'm not sure of the fashion brand, but I think it was it Empromani, I think? There was some male-marketed body spray, and I had like a sample, and whew, that was some good stuff, I gotta say. I was like, you know, the smell of the week, it was absolutely fantastic to see and witness and smell. But what's your favourite thing in Italy? Don't forget to post it, not just on the stream chat, but also in the YouTube comments below, whether you're watching on Hypertier Racing or for Ludo version 2. And the best comment will get a shout out, actually, in the next week set of videos. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Stream chat. Actually, Veloce has just lost a position to English Big Boy, so they are on the charge. But I think their charge might be a bit fast. They're certainly fast, but it's very, very furious as they're getting corner cutting penalties galore. They could be disqualified here. As Pakafan off the 25 lap softs, sorry, mediums, about to go on to the softs. So they'll drop down a couple of positions. We'll keep an eye on Veloce. I think this would be a sensible target to focus on. His Mercedes teammate this race has gone and passed. Can he outdo Veloce? Yes, Veloce will outdo him, but also, can he get past the big boy, it seems? Or someone else pitted. I think it's Matthew. Oh, the McLaren doing a bit of rallycross there, but has managed to keep it on the road. Good stuff from Veloce, learning the circuit as we go along. I think Big Boy is going to do the courteous thing and let him back through. There's a yellow flag though. I think it's just the Big Boy let him through. So great racing between Veloce and the Big Boy, I gotta say. As Desert 10 has picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting once again. Incredibly, we've got only 3, actually Matthew's not in, but 2 drivers who have got a clean record, that being Armakinga and Karangis. But one of the drivers who hasn't got a clean record this race is about to go and see if they can destroy the record of those 2 and mainly get past. But if they can give them some penalties, that will always help them. Starting off with Karangis, he is on 16 lap softs. Remember, they are going to start to wear. Here comes the DRS. He's absolutely drained his battery to only about 5%. But again, Kieran biding his time. He's got a lot of battery spare, and Harvey is into 4th place, getting past his former whip of the year. Arrivederci. Funny one, admin. Whichever one of you is doing it, that is a very good response. I will screenshot it before the stream ends to make sure that could be mentioned in next week's session of videos. But with that said, don't forget to comment your favourite thing made in Italy, and you may be shouted out in the next week's set of videos. So by all means, keep them coming. But we've seen Harvey make a move on Kieran. Again, they have got penalties compared to these 2 who do not, and they are on more mediums. But unlike Kieran, he's got a lot of ERS to spare, I think. Armakinga, not so much, but the Welsh Dragon having enough to obviously not to make their opponent think they've got loads in the tank kit. Harvey absolutely draining, trying to get past, and he's going to do around the outside a bit of a lock-up, but great race in between Harvey and Armakinga. And that is Harvey with English Big Boy sending the fast lap of the race into 3rd place. Armour not being able to respond on those mediums, but again, it will come back to him. You just got to stay patient and stay with him, and he will get that place back, I'm sure, when Harvey makes a pit stop. Veloce coming into the pits on softs there. I wonder if that's going to be a master stroke as Norton. Oh, they were doing so well to keep it clean. But they've been spun round. They've just lost it. But to be fair, oh, Armakinga. Whoa, I was getting a bit close to those guys. It's Armakinga now has a 3-second penalty. Clearly trying to push. And Kieran has just got past Armakinga actually, as Norton is losing a little bit. They were doing so well to keep it clean and green. We're not trying to cook the tyres. Excellent recovery by Norton. A little bit slow. At least they're not going to have their tyres turned into ovens. So good stuff on them, as Kieran is also up into 4th place ahead of Armakinga. Norton's tyres, he's making some barbecue, it seems. His tyres are real cooked, I need to think of food. Cooked lasagna. We'll roll with that. Cooked lasagna. A cooked vegan lasagna here at this Grand Prix. But alas, Packer fans send the fast lap. His English big boy is coming into the pits. He's going to go on softs to the end now. So this pace should be very crucial. Again, strategy is a very key part in races like this, especially when they're over a very long distance. As percent, but the big boy will drop down to 12th place in this race. As Kirangis has picked up another 3-second time penalty. Actually, no, it's the first. So, yeah, none of the humans, actually except for Norton, incredibly. Norton's the last one standing without getting any penalties. So, fair play to Norton. I think that's a pretty impressive achievement, considering that they were infamous for not being a championship contender, but they've shown some good consistency. As for Lotche, has got a 3-second time penalty. So actually, let's look at everybody's penalties. Bar Norton. Norton has got 0. Matthew will not finish as it stands unless he rejoins, because as you can see, he is in ghost mode after called the Ghostbusters to remove him from the standings of this race. His Packer fan sits to the last side of the race. So Druid is with 3 seconds. Positive is on 6. Harvey, not too far, but actually a bit far behind, but he's on 9. Kieran's on 3. I thought there was going to be a spin there, but there isn't. As these two are on 3 seconds a pop, they're absolutely having a great old scrap here for 4th place as well. Lotche setting the fastest time with 1:16.6. Are the sweaty McBetty laps started to come out now? Perhaps with the fuel load starting to go down, it seems. But as we can see with Kieran only having about 18 laps of fuel coming off this corner. The Alfa Romeo is a little bit harder to see, sadly, with that wonderful camera angle here in the beautiful region of Emilia-Romagna. But alas, Kirangis is pushing hard, fast and furious, with 4th place then. Got Armakinga in 5th, but for some reason the game doesn't want to recognise it's Armakinga. There we are. There's a Williams spun. I think it could be Norton, sadly. I think it is, but I'll check. It is Norton, sadly. Oh no, it's not Norton, it's someone else. As Druid, English big boy. Oh, it's the big boy has retired from the race. A lot of people diving into the pit. Is this going to be a safety car? If it is, they've strategized this absolutely to perfection. But it's not, as Kieran is fighting with Armakinga all the way. But Arma is into 2nd place. An English big boy leaving. I don't blame them, but mate, certainly if they would have finished, I would classify them as my driver of the day. But they certainly did an excellent demonstration, if a little bit of a furious one. But Positive is now with Druids, coming into the pits, and others into the lead of this Grand Prix, with Armakinga a distant 2nd place, fighting off a fast charging Kieran in 3rd, with Desert 10 in 4th on the hards. Again, very respectable. I said that strategy could come into play, and now it is, as Kevin is doing a good recovery drive back up into 5th. Druid just making a pit stop on very fresh softs in 6th, as Matthew has returned. Hooray, hurrah! Now, the Tier 1 champion can finally get the pace down. They've got the need for speed, I'm sure, after missing out. And they might not win, but they can certainly knuckle down and get on with an excellent drive. As Druid has gotten past Kev, to the shock of no one, because obviously he's on brand new softs. Kev's on 21 lap mediums. Is no surprise. Druid, he's on a fast charge here for this race. He could probably sneak a win if he can do this quickly enough. He is within pit stop window of Kieran Armour and Positive, so we'll see what Drury can do. He was a Mercedes driver. We never quite saw the full potential, as Mercedes doing a bit of team orders there. Always good to see. Kevin taking the moral high ground and letting Packer through. Bear in mind, Packer has been a little bit quicker, I think, but also he's on softs, not just much fresher. So obviously you don't want to hold up your teammate, no matter what the colour of the car is. But alas, Kieran is back up into second with this epic scrappy, but I'm going to check out this one instead. As Druid is going to go for a move around the inside of this. God, we've seen a couple of brave moves here today. It's a tight, twisty circuit Imola is, but that was a lovely move. You'd love to see it on a fresh set of softs. Druid, he is certainly putting in a fast charge, and it's certainly a furious one, as he's flying his way up into fourth. Can the Haas get onto the podium maybe, or even the dizzying height to the win? Armour, I think, has gone a little bit wide, I think. Maybe a little bit of a tiny error? Perhaps? I'm not too sure, but meanwhile, I think Deza is a little bit susceptible to the Packer fan. Oh, very close to a T-bone collision there. This is a burnout, boys, as Phoenix has retired. Is this going to be a safety car? Surely. It is a safety car. These drivers will be furious, but Harvey will be, but Hurricane, Matthew, Norton, Veloce will be absolutely happy with themselves. Deta just missed out the safety car. But man, oh man, this is going to be a very interesting race. So, positive. 31, and Norton's got a time penalty. A drive-through, sorry, for speeding under the safety car. But positive. Surely, maybe this is going to play into Druid's hands. He's just made a pit stop. And look, he can go to the end of the race. These geezers, they will surely have to make a pit stop. I mean, positives, mediums are 31 laps old. I mean, they're in the midlife, you know, of 30 laps. You know, they feel a bit stiff, a bit jointy, you know, a bit rigid, you know. So we'll see what happens. Now, positive. Surely they're not going to do a fadoodle and stay out, even though it's the obvious time to pit. We'll see. But I think they're going to come in. What will the tier champion do? The reigning tier 2 champion? Yes, he will come in. So we will keep your eyes peeled on Druid. Keep your eyes peeled on the minimap on your right-hand side. Positive is coming in for a stop. Druid will probably have to obey safety car Delta, but he can get a move on if he can time this correctly. Positive is into the lead. He's pushing like a stabbed rat. I think this is going to serve him to a T. He's not going to deploy ERS because he's got him, and Druid has taken back the lead of the Emilia-Romagna exhibition race. And that was, yes, to be quite aggressive there, but that was the strategical masterstroke that has put the Haas back, instead of a P5 into P1 of this race. Packer fan is in second place. Also, again, a little bit risky though. I'm on 7 laps off, but yeah, it could work if they're a bit smooth. Positive is the leader of the pitters in third. Kieran's in fourth. Armour King of fifth. Dez is in sixth. Kevin's in seventh. Harvey in eighth. Hurricane ninth. Veloci 10th. And Matthew is on softs. Is this technical or something? I have a feeling it is. Norton is on a set of mediums. But alas, Druid is back in the lead of this race. Now I think this has been a fantastic strategy by the British number 15 driver. Sorry, I can't resist. Haas have got the best name for puns. I think they have a Hamazing team, you know. That was a double pun because I was referencing the Amazing, as Matthew's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Actually, being in 12th, they could probably just come in and get another set of tyres and take the penalty, basically, since I don't think the safety car is going to be coming in the next lap. Matthew, though, going on the mediums all the way to the end. Good call, good call. Who else? Norton, though. Excellent timing from the Williams pair to not double stack. Only a little bit of delay there, but it's not too bad. It's not going to harm them too much, I think, as they will get out and around to start the next lap. Basically catch up to the leaders, which is the main point. As you can see, everyone has sadly got penalties, I think, as Norton will get out the pit successfully. Yeah, everyone's got penalties, which is a bit of a shame to see, but there you go. It's with a 100% race. It's not the kind of concentration levels these drivers are used to, but at the same time, it could help them, because if they're able to overcome a 100% race, we get to 50%ers around Imola, if we go to Imola on the calendar, they'll be absolutely confident and will have the mental stamina needed to drive these very fast cars in a lot of circles, because they've done it for even more circles than what the race actually demands. But as we follow on board with Norton, actually, we'll follow on board with Veloce, actually, until when they join up the safety car queue. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Scroll to either the YouTube description of either Hypertier Racing or for Doodle version 2, or you can scroll to the About section on our Twitch. If you'd like to give us money, which we'd be very, very appreciative of, like Sipal Shanker, one of our team principals actually, who came in through a Twitch donation back in Monza Formula 2, if I'm not mistaken. What's the word? Yeah, it would really go a long way to support us. You can either do it via Twitch, or you can do it via our Discord and give us some Discord Nitro. You can subscribe monthly on Twitch. It's only £3.19. It's not that much in the grand scheme, but it would go a long way to helping us outgrow into becoming the most hyperactive racing league in the world. As cliche as that is to say. Fair enough, Hurricane, fair enough. I think you will definitely have to shed some tears, because, yeah, I won't spoil it for now. I'll save it for when we get to the proper Italian race and when Hurricane is around. But alas, it was a bit of a... what's the word? A bit of a sad day if you're a fan of the team of HRT. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I was trying to make a screenshot, fellas, for the thumbnail. Ah, thank you all for your support. Thank you for your generous tips. Again, I do apologise for also missing you all out on the first 5 laps. I had some a family situation that was just too urgent, and I just had to respond. You know, you just got to do the right thing, haven't you? And respond to whatever life throws at you. It's like a game of Monopoly, and unfortunately, indirectly I was dealt a bit of a bad chance card for HTR stream, first one of season 3, so yeah, it's all good, it's all good. Thank you all, as we have got about 10 laps to go. I don't think, with how far the Williams pair are, I don't think it'll be coming in this lap, but we'll keep our eyes peeled to see. I will switch away, actually I'll put it on Matthew, see how far... Oh, Matthew is actually getting close. It is coming in this lap. Can Matthew time it to perfection so he doesn't have to join the queue? No, I don't think he will. But can Norton do this? Again, if he doesn't have to obey by the safety car, he'll have his tyres in the most optimum temperature. We'll see what the Norton and Exarton, but it is Norton, can do. Druid is now leading a safety car restart. I think this is the first recorded safety car restart they've done the whole HTR. Will they leave it late or leave it soon? We'll find out now. He's going up against the Packer fan himself. He's climbed their way back up after a bit of a disastrous start. Disastrous, if you will. But alas, it's lights out now. The safety car is in, the Mercedes has come in, and now it's 9 laps of fast and furious action to the checkered flag made in Italia. Well, at the circuit that is made in Italy, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, as Kieran makes a move on positive, and that was one he didn't see coming, nor to pick it up a time, but it'll be on the road. Finally joining everybody else, but fair play for Norton for lasting 54 after that penalty. But with that said, Hirangis taking a great line there to get past positive. Bear in mind he's on the medium tyres, so he needs to absolutely bolt away from him like that dog from the Disney film in 2007 or 8, one or the other. But alas, Armour King to fifth, there's a yellow flag, and Veloce is retired! The Great Dane has become the retired Dane, it seems, and that might have put Armour King off slightly. Dazza having a little sniff, changing onto the softs, but not quite anything substantial just yet, it seems. Is this going to be the move? That little mistake, is that going to be enough for Kevin to take 6th place? We're about to find out now. There's a lot of great moves going on here. Positive, trying to get back on Kieran. Is there going to be a move for the lead? No, I think Druid has absolutely bolted away, it seems. Oh, is there contact? Yes, there is! Oh, Kevin has had a bit of contact with someone. I'm not sure who has annihilated him, but someone has. And that's going to make the newly elected Aston Martin TP. It could be Hurricane, but Kev's going to stay on. As Hurricane's retired, the damage is too terrible, it seems. There's a yellow flag in the first and final sectors of the race. I don't think there'll be a safety car, because we've just had the 5th one of the race. It's a bit mad. I don't blame Veloce. But again, if everybody finishes now, they will score points. So the drivers just need to keep it clean, keep it in the green, and I'm sure they will score plenty of points needed to win the race. Druid is in first, distance from Packer-fan. We're going to check this battle behind though, because it's really intense for third. Positive, absolutely pushing through the Italian curve, as I'm going to call it throughout the rest of this video. They're rolling through the 100-meter board, about to break now. Whoa! Positive losing their braking point slightly, and just like Aiden Jackson, could have went into the back of Casper. It could have been a bit more severe, but all is good. All is good. Right, Armakinga is in fifth, but now I think Deza has got the run. The Welsh Dragon giving Deza a little bit of a squeeze. One of the Triforce on HTR. They're pushing each other side by side here as it stands. But Armakinga, is he going to do the switcheroo? Has he got the Uno reverse card in his deck? No, he can only deploy a number, and that number is not greater than the number 10, it seems. And out the front, actually. Well, no, not quite, because Packer Druid has pulled out of DRS range from Packer, which is kind of expected, bear in mind his softs are 5 laps, older compared to the Haas. But with that said, Kieran's having a great old scrap with Positive. These two, I never thought we'd see the day of these two fighting so closely, but we have, in cars we've never typically seen. If you want to join in the lottery of Hyper-Tier Racing as to what car you may be drawn up for Tuesday, you can join us via our link in the description below. But you'll also be able to get it through Twitch. Is he going to go around the outside? Oh, might have been a bit aggressive there. But Positive does not get past Kieran for now. Packer-fan still in third. Now he's got a time penalty. I was going to say he's in third. He's in second, which is even better than third. So great news for him. Right, the typical McLaren driver driving the Mercedes, the most premium Mercedes car in Formula 1 in real life, in the standings. You know, that's a bit of a fact right there, unless McLaren pulled off a whirly. But with that said, Positive is in 4th place, and now I think there's going to be a switch for this position. There's about 5 cars here. Watch out from Harvey down to Kieran for an epic scrap here, as Positive is going for the inside on the soft tyres. The mediums not quite getting up to temperature, and Positive is into 3rd place. Can Deza do something about that to make Kieran's day a little bit worse? No, Kieran's still keeping on to number 4. Probably the Jensen Button fan is pushing like Jensen Button, and in a car that's not too dissimilar painted, if you pretend that the dark green is white and the pink is fluorescent yellow. But alas, Kieran is in 4th place at the moment from Deza, and then Armakinga. And you know what? I think Daz's got the beautiful drive out of that corner, but it's not quite going to be. They're thinking tactically about this again. Looking at the steering wheel, if you pay attention to the line underneath the orange button, Arma's got the... Actually, no, Harvey's got the most ERS out of everybody in this little conga line here, in the Nokia Snake game we've got going on here. But alas, Positive is pulling the gap he needs crucially on Kieran, but now on those mediums he's going to struggle for a little bit, and I think the soft runners have won. I think they've made the right strategical call today. Everybody's running out of ERS in this battle, but alas, Deza will go to the inside here of Kieran. He will do a Positive to Kieran. They're getting very close. Is this going to be contact? Not quite. Oh, Kieran going wide, but keeping it on the road and in 5th place. Great driving there from the normally Red Bull driver from Season 2 to keep it on the road in these very tight pressurous situations, as we're down to 5 laps to go of this 123-minute stream. My oh my, this is one the drivers must be absolutely tired for afterwards, I will say that much. As somebody has left, Kevin has annihilated themselves out the race, a virtual safety car in the final 5 laps. Surely, is this one the likes of Druid, of Packer, are going to want to take advantage of? We will just have to find out, as in the meantime, Hubie's doggy is determined to get on the bed, and she's made it on the bed! Oh, that must be a very triumphant feeling for her, and she can now finally relax whilst the... what's the word, like, lol part, I don't know what the word is, like, pet brother, I don't know. It carries on talking to himself, and at the moment about 5 other people on the wonderful world of the internet. None of them taking the pit advantage, it seems, which is interesting. I thought one of them would, especially maybe the likes of... I thought maybe the medium runners would. Will Matthew? No. That is interesting considering how far back he is and knowing how much of a safety cushion is from Norton. It's our first virtual safety car as it goes under in a very short amount of time. We've only got 4 laps to go, 3 and a bit now, of this Grand Prix, and Druid has lost a bit of time here to Packer under the VSC. And now these two will be absolutely pushing it for that win. Again, Positive is on tyres that are a bit fresher than Packers, but not too much different from Druids. And I think, based off the stints some of the drivers were able to do, the soft runners should be keeping it fine. Hurricane, I don't blame them for leaving the session, as Norton will eventually claim 9th place, which I think they'll be pretty proud of, all things considered, even if they are a lap down. But rolling it through the chicane, Druid taking a little bit of a wider line than Packer fan. Again, each car have their own different aerodynamic philosophies, so it's obviously going through how things work slightly. As Harvey has picked up a 3-second time penalty, but moving back to the battle for 3rd, it seems as Kieran has dropped to 5th. Those mediums clearly not being the strategical call that was going to serve them well, it seems, as Norton now moves up to 9th place. Positive is pushing away from one of the league's Triforce members, owners now, Deza I should say, but I don't think the Ferrari man is going to have enough. He is not using his ERS. Positive is absolutely yeeting that battery dry. And there's not going to be any juice left in the poor hybrid. But alas, Deza going for a move potentially around the inside. Has he got the reverse card in him? No, he hasn't. As Positive says, you're going to have to skip a turn now, and you're going to have to sit behind my Honda-powered machine. As, oh! Packer fan's gone round! The 2nd place man has bottled slightly under the pressure of Druid. He's told him, exterminate yourself and the 15 Mercedes driver. Unfortunately for them, has at this stage in the race could be a chance maybe for Matthew and Norton to climb a position, but Druid must be absolutely licking their lips as they've only got 3 laps to go now of this race. Oh boy, I think all of you can't. I'm going to need a good old hot lemon drink with some honey in it after this commentary, I'll tell you that much. How Crofty does a 100% race, I will have no idea. But alas, Druid is in the lead as it stands, as my dog just buried her head in the pillows because she probably doesn't like Formula 1. I don't blame her, it's just cars going in circles. But it doesn't matter, these circles, as Druid has gone in circles now 60 times, and about to start his 61st circuit lap, as now Positive has to keep himself positive as he's fighting off Deza. Number 10, his ERS is dry. Deza going to the outside, Positive playing it smart, like what he did with Druid, just let him through, and now we'll sit in 3rd place. Kieran getting up into 4th, past Armakinga, with Harvey in 2nd place. And don't forget Packerfan, who is within a whisker of this camera battle, with Matthew down in a quiet 8th. Somebody you wouldn't expect from the Tier 1 champion. But this battle is fatal. What is a fatal? I don't think fatal is even a word. Last time I checked. But alas, this is going to be a very intense fight here for 2nd place. I mean, 1st at this point, unless if Druid makes a mistake, which they do not do there, thankfully, is going to be pretty much booked in. So we're keeping our eyes peeled on the battle for 2nd, if that's alright with you, stream chat. And Deza has gotten ahead of Positive. Very crucial, they're on the same tyres, and well, they're actually very different cars, but it's the same point with the same fuel and the same tyres and the same compound. So it's just a straight up fight for that win. Both of their ERSs are absolutely shot biscuits. As they're going to make a move now, someone's going to have to make the move down this start-finish straight. Will they save? No, Dazza will not. They are both pushing like absolute staff rats as Packerfan has picked up another penalty. It seems, remember, penalties are going to come into this, and as it stands, yeah, Dazza will lose his position to Positive, but he doesn't care. He's going to fight for it like no one's business. But Positive taking the place back. Again, he's just got to, if Dazza can't pull away with 3 seconds of Positive, he has won. And Kieran, well, knowing the penalties, he's actually going to take 2nd on the road here. Harvey will certainly drop down the order as someone's out. It's a Mercedes. I think it's Packer again. He's packed himself out of the race contention, sadly, for the epic fight for 2nd. So I think it'll be one for them to remember the good bits and forget the bad, I think. There's a bit of good, bad, and ugly. I think they'll say their importance. But there's the yellow flag for session 1 and 2. I think Matthew is going to get past. Yes, Matthew does get past Packerfan. So at least they'll have something to cheer about. At least they got past one car despite being disconnected from most of the race. But now, this is just a straight up charge for Positive. Meanwhile, he's actually, yeah, he's charging very fast and furious because he has gotten ahead of Deza. But remember, in this battle, he has the 2nd least amount of penalties. He needs to build a 3-second cushy cushion from Kieran and Armour, which at the moment he is not doing. if he wants to maintain that second place. As Dezza's got another 3-second penalties for warnings and is on to 12 at this stage. And Pakafan's got a 5-second penalty for cutting the corner. I think they've lost a little bit of mental patience. But alas, Dezza going to go for the move around the inside on the final lap of the immediate Imola exhibition race at 100% distance. But Dezza securing it beautifully there. Textbook stuff. And as a league owner, that's the kind of driving you want to see. Meanwhile, further behind, Harvey has made it up to 4th incredibly on the road, but has gone wide, but didn't bother it unlike earlier in the race, and has kept themselves in 4th place. But now, Armour Kinga and Harvey able to great scrap as Kieran has got himself back through 4th. Again, Armour Kinga needs to get past Harvey. Definitely, certainly, and Kieran more specifically on the road, but these two are still going side by side. But around the outside of that section, Armour Kinga wins, and that is that battle. That was an incredible scrap. If I do say to myself, Dezza, I got enough juice, positive attitude, straight that patry like it's no man's business. Matthew picked up another 3-second penalty, sadly for them, as they crossed the line. But with that said, unless it's some kind of drama happy climb, which it is not, it's been a fantastic day from the... Is this the way the team continues to carry on their form from Season 2? It probably will. There's Druid, 97.26, wins this race. Desert 10 takes 2nd on the road, but we'll find it all out in a second. Positive has 2nd on the road. Now it's Kieran, then Armour Kinga in 3rd, with Positive in 4th, sadly, with all the penalties, and Dezza in 5th. FRT Harvey in 6th, with Matthew probably going to claim 7th now as it stands. Yes, he will. And he got a 5-second penalty for some reason. Packerfan now. Losing a front wing. Is this Norton's chance to grab himself a 9th place? But alas, you've got your winner, ladies and gentlemen, in Druid 9726. And last, coming over the line, it's going to be a bit of a push now from Norton if he wants to get it. He has got a 23-second buffer as Packerfan runs very wide there. Out of the start-finish straight, and Norton will be absolutely pushing like a stabbed rat. He needs to get within 23 seconds in order to beat somebody in this race through non-retiramental means. He's pushing his Williams with Mercedes power all the way to the checkered flag, but I think it's going to be Packer who will keep this. It will be. And let's see who the game believes will be the first ever Driver of the Day award of our Season 3 of HTR Racing shall be awarded to Druid 9726, your race winner in our inaugural exhibition race for Season 3. What a very much eventful, well, 2 hours and 12 minute stream we've gone through, isn't it? Not just on the racetrack, from the commentary booth and everything else. Everybody picked up penalties, but let's run you through the order. Druid 9726, your Driver of the Day, from 18th, climb their way up to 1st. A fantastic job from the Haas driver there. Kirangis 22, good start to the season for them in 2nd place, with Armour Kinga in 3rd. Positive 4th, Daz is in 5th. Harvey finished a respectable 6th. Matthew, despite being disconnected throughout most of the race, and Sarah with Packer in 8th. Norton getting some solid points in 9th. Kevin Annihilator, the first of the retirees, in 10th. Hurricane 11th, Veloce 12th, Phoenix 13th, English Big Boy 14th, Sam 15th, Red Sox 16th, Rico 17th, Hazard 18th, Jerker 19th, and Titan Police in plumb last. Remember, we will be I forgot to say, we'll be doing another race tomorrow where 20 more drivers will be driving some fast cars in circles for 100% race distance. But next time out to be Portimao. And as we say goodbye to Imola and hello to Portimao, today has been the day of the Druid. I've been Fadoodle. Thank you ever so much for watching. Stay safe and stay Fadoodly.